From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Micah Halpern, sitting in for Teisha Bader, here with the JBS News Update for Friday, March 6, 2020. There are several essential takeaways from Israel's election this week. One, rather than exhibiting voter fatigue during their third election in the course of 1 year, Israelis were energized with more people voting in this election than any other election since 1999. Two, predictions about Netanyahu being punished by voters and about voters being unable to overlook the legal issues he's entangled with proved false. Three, Labor and Gesher have truly imploded. Israel's founding political party is now barely breathing. Four, the Joint Arab List leached voters from Labor and are now the real left in Israeli politics, steadily increasing with each election, and has become, as they are about to receive 14 of 15 parliamentary seats, the third largest political party in Israel. Five, Israelis have long believed that because there are 120 seats in the Knesset, 61 was the magic number for the coalition building. Yet governments have been built and functioned with a small coalition of 53 and a coalition of 61, or even 58. It's very difficult to keep the coalition together and is not a stable government. It works for a short time, but Israeli governments do not last. Not a single Israeli government has ever survived its entire term. Azerbaijan has shut its borders to Iran. No Iranians in or Iranian products cross the border. No one from Azerbaijan may enter Iran, all because of coronavirus. The tourism industry in Iran has already been decimated by U.S. sanctions, and now, because of this virus, Iranians are taking another economic hit. This is the season of the Iranian New Year, called Nowruz. Nowruz holiday stretches over a 2-week period. Reports are that 80% of hotel reservations in Iran have been canceled. One media report said that in the northern holy city of Mashhad, 90% of the hotels have no guests at all. No one is visiting the city. These are devastating numbers. Iran will not be having a happy new year. Israel is a leader in drone and anti-drone production and defense. There are many Israeli companies in this segment of the market. One company, Bluebird, just concluded a deal to provide 150 drones to a certain unnamed European country. Elbit, a much larger company in this niche, has sold over 1,000 drones to an unnamed Asian country. Israel needed to develop a defense system against drones coming from Gaza and Lebanon, and they have. They developed drones that carry weapons and cameras. Some are tiny and some are huge. Israel has also developed an anti-drone weapon that shoots drones down with lasers. The laser dissipates after several hundred meters, so it will not damage anything beyond the target. Before the new technology was developed, the best way to strike a drone was with another drone. A new study about Europe's attitudes concerning Jews and Israel has been released. The study was conducted in 16 European countries. 1,000 representative samples were culled with a degree of error from each country of only 0.8%. Here's what they found. 20% of Europe believes that Jews control the world. 20% believe that Jews exploit the Holocaust for their own interests. 25% of the respondents said that Israel's policies explain why people hate Israel. 25% disagree with the statement that Israel is acting in its own defense. 33% agreed with the statement that during World War II, people from their country suffered as much as the Jews. The numbers are baffling, but they must be believed. Given the representative sampling in this study, those surveyed accurately reflect the attitude of their nation. Hamas has announced that they have completed their attack against Israel. That's not an easy thing for Hamas to say. Hamas is stuck between the proverbial rock and a hard place. They are stuck between two very different points of view and approaches. On the one hand, Hamas defines itself as being about defense and fighting Israel. Hamas's message has always been that they are non-stop fighters against Israel. On the other hand, Hamas governs Gaza, and they need to maintain calm. Calm is defined by a society that can function. Hamas knows that as a government, they cannot tolerate ongoing, regular targeting by Israeli Air Force. That means that a ceasefire and quiet becomes an essential objective, even though a ceasefire and quiet with Israel is in direct conflict with Hamas's role as fighters and defenders of Gaza. Hamas seems to be embracing the ceasefire for their own self-preservation. And now a look at tonight's programming on JBS. Coming up at 6, it's live Shabbat services from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Ina Garten at the 92nd Street Y. At 8:30, it's the film The Law. At 10, an Israeli travelogue. And at 10:20, it's Kabbalat Shabbat service from the Hampton Synagogue. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Shlomo Riskin with a look at this week's Torah portion. I'm Micah Halpern, and this is today's news update from JBS. I hope you enjoyed the weekend, and Shabbat Shalom.